This is Andi Purewal, Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm joined by Shane Fury here at the end of what was Fury Whyte workout. Instead, just Tyson Fury's workout, obviously with the undercard as well.
Oh, sorry, it's getting the norm, isn't it? It's getting the norm now.
That's what I was going to ask you, Shane. Obviously, no Dillian Whyte today. What did you make of him not turning up to the workout, given that he did the virtual press conference recently? He also did his first post on the fight. Surprised that he didn't turn up today?
Yeah, really. But listen, does it really make any difference? I don't know. I suppose he's got his own reasons. And listen, if it makes him feel a bit better, fair play, leave him do it.
Does it take away from the build-up to the fight at all, Shane? Obviously, people are still talking about it because he's your brother and he's Dillian, two big names. But if Dillian had been more interacting more rather within this fight, do you think it would have built up more and Tyson maybe even more up for it than what he is currently?
Listen, Tyson's a professional man. When you're doing something on a daily basis, what means the world to you, it couldn't get no more built up in Tyson's mind. He's been training since January. And listen, if he was fighting a man, I've said it before in another interview, if he's fighting a man with walking sticks, he'd have done the same. That's just the way we are. He trains to perform on the night. And there's no harder trainer than Tyson. I've heard bits of comments around, if Tyson trains and so on. But Tyson never don't train. On certain times, like last fight, he come in out of shape. He was fit, but his body didn't look too right. He was eating out of an hospital for 2 months before that, and then he had 5 weeks. It's like me going now into a 6-week training camp. I'll probably be fit to do the rounds, but I wouldn't be. But Tyson would be fit to do the rounds, but he's not going to get his body in shape. You look at him now, he's in total different shape.
Shane, we've seen your brother take to fighting anybody within the heavyweight division in all different styles. How does he approach this fight with Dillian on Saturday night?
I think he keeps it long. We're under no illusions that Dillian Whyte is not a good fighter, but for me, in boxing, there's levels in boxing, and Dillian Whyte, you put Dillian Whyte in the drum with all the top 10 heavyweights, mix them all up, and blind pick them, and each of them could beat each other on the night. I just see Tyson, on probably a biased opinion, on a different level than that. If Tyson's as good as man as what I think he is, he should chop Dillian Whyte to pieces. And that's no disrespect to Dillian Whyte, because he's a good man. He wears his heart on his sleeve and he goes to town. But like I say, there's levels in boxing, and I think you will see the levels on Saturday.
Shane, I asked Tommy earlier. He said he thinks Tyson will stop him, maybe not mid to late. Sugar Hill said to me, knockouts as always, knockouts. Is this one which ends inside the distance, in your opinion?
I believe so. Yeah. I believe so. If I was a betting man, I'd probably go like late rounds, after 9. But it's hard. Listen, to go in there with Tyson. Listen, to beat Tyson, you've got to hit him. Your shot is hit him once, and hopefully you don't beat the count. Barring that, you're not going to beat him on points. You're not going to wear him down and then get on top of him. He can fight 12 rounds at any pace you want to go at. He's a tough man. He's game, and listen, he's got something to prove in his own head every time he does anything. So he's a hard man to beat, but listen, you'll see on the night. I do think there's a goal for difference, not just in Whyte. I think you go for difference in a lot of them, to be fair with you. I think Usyk, he'd have to do something a little bit different, but confident in beating them all. And he'll look sensational on Saturday night. And if he don't look sensational and he has a victory but don't look sensational, that means he's 34 and he's no longer got what he used to have. But with him being so good, he can come down a couple of pegs and he's still above him.
Shane, Tyson's alluded to this being his potentially the final fight of his career. Now we know he can be having a laugh and a joke, or he could be serious. We just don't know with him. Do you expect this to be his final fight?
Listen, he's out of all contracts, and to have all them contracts gone after this fight, it's a deal of pressure off you. So I'd like it if he retired, but it's an hard thing to do, to retire when someone's dangling $1 million carrot in front of you. Which I know Tyson, And I know it's not the actual money what interests him, but around here, he's something, isn't he? You know, Tyson is the man. 1,000,001 cameras around him. He's got a job to do. He's got that goal to do Saturday night. After that's done, Tyson's not happy doing a normal thing. So, what's he do? Have a rest, go on holiday, play with his kids, take his kids to school. How long do you do that before you go on a diabolical crisis? You know, in the mindset. So, I think he's not happy until he's in training camp and got a goal to do. You know.
Shane, it's an interesting conversation there. You mentioned how Tyson always wants to be getting in the gym. He always wants to be training. He always wants to be fit. He always wants to be boxing. We saw Dave Allen previously say, not comparing them at all, but Dave Allen said, you know, when he was out of the ring, he always wanted to be back in there because he saw that kept him sane. Do you see this? Not the similarities, but do you see what it means by that?
It's all the same, whatever level you're on. If you're that way inclined, you're a fighter man, you truly love it. I'd imagine it'd all be the same. You know, with Tyson, but it's slightly different because I believe if he had something else to sink his teeth into, it would take his mind off it. But at the minute, there's no other businesses barring the boxing, so it's bored. It's, you know, pick your nicest food and your nicest car and do it every day. Do everything you want to do every day. You'd be begging for beans and toast and sit down at home watching the telly after however long it is. So with him, he needs to keep his brain active, whether it's training or something else. But I do think he'll carry on.
Shane, obviously the one fight which everybody would love to see is, provided Tyson comes through, is the winner of Saturday night versus the winner of Usyk AJ2. Do you think that's the only fight which Tyson could return for?
Yeah, I do believe so. Yeah. I'd like it if Joshua won. Can't see it. Not because he's a bad man or anything. Just because I think Usyk's a supreme boxer. But if Joshua won, it's two fights, isn't it? You know, fight, winner, and then another fight to just seal it on. But yeah, it'd be good for British boxing as well as anything else.
For your brother, what is his remaining ambitions within the sport then? Because he's never lost in the ring, never lost his titles in the ring, but he doesn't obviously hold those with Usyk holding them currently. Is it to be undisputed, or is there something else he wants to leave behind or achieve within boxing?
I think he's achieved personally everything he can achieve. He's won every belt in boxing. You know, he's beat pretty much everyone in his way. You know, the Joshua fight would have been brilliant, but you know, I can only do what I'm supposed to do. You know, the same respect as Tyson and every man. You know, if Joshua would have won when he won, they'd have been fighting now instead of White. So we'll see what happens. We'll see.
Shane, press conference tomorrow. Do you expect to see Dillian turn up?
I expect it. Yeah, I think he's definitely going to turn up. Yeah, he wants to do.
Do you think he's trying to play mind games with Tyson, which in itself, you can imagine, very difficult to get underneath his skin or to try to annoy him?
Mind games for me is for weak-minded people. I don't believe that it's even an issue. When people say mind games, I don't really understand what it is. You're gonna go in there and do your best. You're gonna go in there and fight anyway. So what difference does a few words make? You know. I'd be the most boringest fighter in the world if I was a boxer, but I'd understand. I'm going to go in there, I'd say to myself, I'm going in there, I'm training, I'm getting paid at the end of it, so just words ain't going to make no difference. But listen, if that helps White a little bit, fair dues to him, leave him do that, but I don't think it's going to affect Tyson, no.
Right, Shane, it's a pleasure to catch up with you as always. Good to see you looking well, and thanks for speaking to me in Boxing Social.
God bless you, thank you very much.